Hello, hello, one and all. Welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Kit, and today we have ourselves a fun video to get our learn on from. So, for those of you who've been following this channel, I have a big connection to Japan. My family, for the most part, has been connected to Japan as well. Most of us have had a chance to be there, live there, visit, etc. And again, I just find the history and the culture of Japan to be fascinating. And there's one point in history that really captures my attention, especially in regards towards Japan and its early history, and that is the infamous Mongol invasion of Japan. And I always found it fascinating that the Great Mongol Horde, not once, but twice, were pushed back. Now, of course, we all know that there were other factors that led to the Mongol defeat. And, from following kings and generals, especially their coverage of the creation of the Mongol Empire, at least when Genghis Khan was manning the ship, he would always be like, I didn't hear no bell ring, but there was never a third invasion of Japan, and that's kind of fascinating. It's interesting. And this video is actually from History Dose, and it's titled, What a Samurai versus Mongol Battle Really Looked Like. So let's get ready to get our learn on. So everyone grab yourself a tasty snack and a tasty beverage, and let's get ready to pull up this video and get ready to enjoy what a samurai versus Mongol battle really looked like. And if this is the kind of content you guys like, please be sure to type it in the comment section below. Plus, the link to the original video is in the description box below. So please, please, please support the original content creators. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. So until then, let's get ready to play this video in a 3, a 2, a 1.
The islanders of Tsushima noticed them first, the dark figures cutting across the Pacific horizon one evening in 1274. Local governor So Sukakuni knows what's coming. He rallies 80 mounted samurai and leads them through the mountains toward the beach. The invasion fleet lurches forward. The samurai look outnumbered. 6 years ago, the Mongol ruler Kublai Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, sent a letter to Japan's Kamakura government. Innumerable people in far-off lands have learned to fear our power and have longed for our virtuous rule. Moreover, the sages consider the entire universe one family. Therefore, if we should not establish friendly relations with each other, how could it be in accordance with the doctrine of one family? Who would care to appeal to arms? It's seemingly an offer to peacefully submit to Kublai Khan and become subjects of the Mongols. Yet to reject his proposal is to flirt with apocalypse, Holocaust. The sublime cities of the Islamic world, the opulent kingdoms of Russia, mighty domain of Imperial China, have been defiled, burned, gutted. Millions of men, women, and children butchered by the Mongols. For unknown reasons, Kublai Khan has decided that Japan should now bend the knee to his empire. Japan's government responds by ignoring his letter. So Sukakuni is first to suffer the consequences. At dawn, 1,000 Mongols charge the beach. Samurai are masters of the blade, but they are first and foremost horse archers. The Japanese fight in small, disparate bands of samurai warriors and their followers. They prefer to pick off individual targets at range. This initially works against the Mongols, and Tsushima's defenders cut down many of the oncoming invaders. But Mongol tactics are foreign and overwhelming. Mongol domination has come on the backs of battle-worn nomads trained in horse archery since childhood. They launch synchronized charges in units, raining mass volleys of arrows down on clumps of enemies. When the exhausted enemy herds begin to thin, they charge the gaps and look to finish the battle with axes and swords. Here, the samurai's mastery of both grappling on horseback and unmounted sword warfare becomes crucial. In the melee, one samurai shatters his sword, and a shower of Mongol arrows kill him. The defenders of Tsushima are outnumbered.
Well, that's okay. First of all, shout out to History Dose was the animation and the narration and showing the brutality of the conflict This has really captured my attention and added a different perspective of what happened in Tsushima.
The bodies of Sukakuni and his followers are left on the beach, and by midday the Mongol invasion of Tsushima is unstoppable. Local buildings are burned, inhabitants slaughtered. The Mongols do the same to the island of Iki before advancing toward the mainland. The fleet comes into view and drops anchor, revealing the Mongol flair for psychological warfare. Their bows are adorned with female islanders dangling from a rope strung through their palms. An onslaught of Mongol horse archers charge the beach to the tune of signals from gongs and drums. They launch ear-splitting gunpowder bombs, sending Japanese horses staggering backward. Then they swing hooks and other weapons to rip the Japanese from their mounts. The Mongols generally navigate the battlefield wearing versatile light armor and carrying personal shields, while the more heavily armored samurai only use shields as stationary protective walls for their archers. The samurai are relentless sharpshooters. Their counterattacks force some of the Mongols to retreat and regroup. One samurai, Takazaki Suenaga, is eager to make a name for himself. Japanese warriors are compensated by the shogunate government only when they can offer proof of their own exceptional deeds. Proof which often takes the form of eyewitness accounts or enemy heads. Suenaga has tracked the retreating Mongols to an encampment. One of his followers warns him not to charge, to wait for reinforcements, but Suenaga answers, "The way of the bow and arrow is to do what is worthy of reward. Charge!" The Mongols let fly a volley of arrows, wounding Suenaga and his 3 retainers. Suenaga presses on until an arrow drills into his horse and he's thrown to the ground, helpless. Suddenly, a charge of reinforcements storms forward, saving his life.
Oh, you got
the Mongol counterattack is brutal. The Japanese scatter and retreat inland, while the invaders lay waste to many of the homes and shrines along the coast. And then, they leave. There appears to have been a storm prior to their departure. Some accounts claimed it wrecked much of the Mongol fleet, while others state it was simply a fortuitous wind that gave the demoralized Mongol fleet the opportunity to sail back to Korea. The Mongols may have realized they lacked the manpower to occupy southern Japan. Whatever the case, the Mongols are gone. For Japan, it's now time to grieve and rebuild. It's the following year that Mongol emissaries arrive in Japan, reiterating Kublai Khan's request to submit to Mongol rule. Hojo Tokamune, the de facto ruler of Japan, has been beheaded. Later emissaries suffer the same fate. Tokamune knows the Mongols won't forget this. He constructs 12 miles of high stone walls on the coast of Japan. Another vital part of Japanese defense is prayer. The emperor, still an important religious figure in Japan, orders shrines to pray for peace and curse the Mongols. Yet the Mongol Empire only grows in power. They've crushed the last of China's southern Song dynasty, absorbed its mighty navy, and constructed a massive new fleet. In the years since the invasion, Kublai Khan has had time to orchestrate the downfall of Japan. In 1281, a Mongol fleet arrives on Tsushima. Defending samurai are crushed, villagers run to the mountains, but the Mongols follow the cries of fleeing children and hunt them down.
Oh, no.
They again occupy Iki and attack the mainland. But this time the guarded coastal walls prevent the Mongols from establishing a position on land. The Mongol fleet is forced to float ominously in the bay, planning island raids. The samurai sense vulnerability. They take sandbars and small boats out to the Mongol ships, clamber aboard, and fight. One, called Kawano Michiari, takes 5 followers and bounds over choppy seas in 2 small boats. As they near a Mongol vessel, an enemy archer kills his uncle. 2 more arrows carve into Michiari's shoulder and left arm as he climbs aboard. He ignores the wounds, unsheathes his sword, kills a large Mongol, and captures an officer. Takazaki Suenaga is also eager to join the fray. He squeezes onto an outgoing Japanese boat, storms a Mongol ship, and attacks the crew. The Mongols are bleeding supplies, but in midsummer the momentum seems to shift. Their massive southern fleet from the newly conquered southern China reaches Japan. The invading army is now 3 times as large as it was in the previous invasion. A tight battle at Takashima Island forces a Japanese retreat. Then, the skies blacken. sails flutter, waves swell. A typhoon overtakes the bay, devouring hundreds of Mongol ships. Soldiers are thrown overboard, vessels dashed against the rocks. The surviving Mongol ships cut anchor and abandon the invasion. The next day, thousands of Mongols, dead and alive, wash up on Japanese beaches and float by on driftwood. One straggler, Chang, has been stranded on an island for 3 days without food. He and other survivors plan to cut down trees, build ships, and sail home. But they're captured by Japanese who are surveying the area. Uninterested in forgiveness, the Japanese execute every Mongol, Korean, and northern Chinese they find. They view the southern Chinese as old allies of Japan, only recently forced under Mongol control. They spared the lives of the newly submitted, saying that they were people of the Tang dynasty, and made them slaves instead. I, Chang, was one of them.
Jeez.
The invasion is over. Takazaki Suenaga, now in his mid-30s, will have his exploits documented in scrolls and will present testimonies and Mongol heads to receive rewards from the government.
If I was there, I'd be like, hey, look, dude, I believe you. Just please stop bringing in human heads. I believe you. You tell me you jumped over a mountain, I believe you. Just don't bring in human heads anymore, okay? It's really stinking up the joint.
Samurai like Kawano Michiari will be honored as heroes. Kublai Khan and the Mongol Empire had famously laid claim to the entire universe, yet for the final time they've tried and failed to claim Japan.
So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And maybe even consider making a donation to our Patreon account. Thanks.
Well, already this is like the second video we have played here on Americans Learn from History Dose, and I have to say, shout out to the phenomenal team that has put together such a detailed video with so much art and narration and storytelling in regards towards this battle that took place between Japan and what was once the most powerful empire in the world ever, the great Mongol Empire, led by Kublai Khan himself. So, what can we take away from this? Holy cow, combat was brutal. And there was no mercy for the enemy, especially if you were trying to take on the samurai. What I do find interesting, and perhaps maybe all of you can help me out with this, but has there been any kind of video or documentation in regards to explaining why Kublai Khan never did a third invasion? I mean, that's never stopped the Mongols before. I mean, Genghis Khan conquered a lot during his time, and he died at an old age, and then his successors did the same thing too. Like, the idea of just getting pushed back didn't seem to apply. What was it that prevented Kublai Khan from doing this a third time? That's what I'd like to know. And so if anyone out there who is part of our channel and subscribed, please, if you have any source material that maybe we could play here so all of us can see for ourselves, please share it in the comment section below. We do need your feedback, because without all of you, this channel won't be growing. And it's because of all of you that this channel is doing so good. So please, please, please give us your feedback. But my goodness, this will not be the first or last time I play anything from History Dose. So please be sure to check out the original channel. The original link is in the description box below. My name is Kit. Take care, folks. And if you see a samurai, don't engage him. Don't engage him in combat. It's best to walk the other way. So there you go. Until then, I'm out. Bye-bye.